As we all know, we are experiencing a trend of very expensive stores and battle passes across multiple games, and a lot of you guys are getting sick and tired of it. So you're probably now asking, what can we do to eliminate or at least reduce the issue, since a lot of games are going to be affected by this for the foreseeable future? Before we get into that, let me explain the concept of stores and battle passes and why people hate them nowadays. Stores are pretty straightforward. It's a section of a game where you could buy digital items like map packs, skins, and XP boost. You could pay for these either using in-game currency you either earn or buy, or you just pay up front with real money. Battle passes are more linear, cheaper reward systems that players pay a certain price for, but in order to get the rewards, you have to actually play the game and gain XP for it. Believe it or not, these are not always hated systems, as these were actually made to counter another scummy microtransaction known as loot boxes, which is gambling for in-game skins and items. These became so controversial that they're now becoming illegal in certain countries, making the move to battle passes and stores the new trend, as they are more consumer friendly from a business perspective. Unfortunately, developers recently started taking them to a whole new level by making skins way more expensive than they should be, and by making some battle passes pay to win or just not as great of value, which leads us to today. So what is the solution to reducing or eliminating this issue entirely? You may not like the sound of this, and it may even sound a bit unrealistic, but we have to stop caring about skins altogether. You might already be trying to counter the issue by not buying the skins, but there's a difference between not buying and not caring. Usually when people don't buy the skins, they still rant about it on social media, showing developers that you really want the skin, and instead of developers thinking we should make a more consumer-friendly system, or even revert it back to the way it was 10 years ago, they're just going to tone it down enough where people will still buy it but not complain about it as much. When you don't care, or at least pretend not to care about these cosmetics, you're not only not buying their products, but also not talking about it or ranting about it. Basically pretending the product doesn't exist. If enough people do this, it will show developers that they need to change the entire system to grab the consumer's attention once again. Obviously, this is going to be a really tough and probably unrealistic goal to reach, mainly because of an issue we as gamers have created for ourselves. One of the biggest problems with today's gamers is that they don't want to work for their games anymore, mainly because of older gamers growing up, not having the time and energy anymore, and newer gamers having the attention span of a goldfish. So instead of trying to improve our skills and having fun doing that, we now despise getting good at games and now seek some kind of participation trophy to reward us simply for existing. Skins were that participation trophy. For example, Overwatch before the Overwatch 2 update, every time you leveled up, you got a loot box, and every time you opened a loot box, you had a chance of getting skins and other items of different rarities. You didn't have to be good at the game to get these, all you had to do was just play the game and level up. In theory, you could unlock all the cosmetics for free if you were lucky enough. Another example is Halo. Back in the good old days of Halo 3 and Reach, you could unlock armor sets from completing achievements and by gaining points every time you leveled up. All of that changed for both of these games specifically when they both went free to play. The idea of free to play is not a bad thing. If a game is free, there's no barrier to entry, meaning I could try the game without risking anything, I could spread the word to my friends that they could try it out for free, internet cafes can have them pre-installed. You get the idea. Less barriers equals more players, which is always a good thing. However, for those that only find excitement over getting skins, a game going free means erasing their incentive for playing that game, because how else are developers going to make money off a free game? Personally, I don't really give a damn. All I really need to enjoy a game is good gameplay. All these shiny, flashy cosmetics are all bonus points, and that's the mentality I grew up with and still live by to this day. So it's not hard for me to live up to my own example. The only skins I actually care about are esports skins, since they usually have some history and meaning to them, and they help out the teams and players involved, so I actually give these methods a pass. Everything else is just pixels on a screen I usually forget about after an hour of using it. I don't think there's anything wrong with buying skins or wanting to work for them, as everyone values things differently, but we've hit the point where we put so much value into these skins and become so down bad for them to the point where it determines whether or not a game is good or enjoyable. And because we put so much value towards these pixels on a screen, developers are now putting high prices on these skins knowing how much we want them. It's the same reason why makeup could cost upwards of hundreds of dollars. We've made the idea of cosmetics so valuable that companies are selling them for abysmal abysmal amounts of money, yet you see lines outside of Ulta specifically for that one product despite it being completely cosmetic. So I truly think the only way we could counter this issue is by changing the way we see skins. Instead of seeing them as the only reason we play a game, we need to go back to the days where they were just seen as a bonus feature and play games because of the gameplay. I know that sounds like something North Korea propaganda would tell you, but we really are the ones that dug ourselves in this hole, and we're the only ones able to bring ourselves out of it. But that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys have any thoughts or suggestions, put them down in the comments below. I do read them. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe for more content, and I'll talk to you all later.